Currently a Steam strategy fest, and as I was looking around I found Stormgate in the free-to-play section, which surprised me, since I remember it as a project by ex-Blizzard developers, which likely not partook in such stuff or something like that. I thought they maybe miscategorized it because of the current event, and then I saw the Steam review ratio, so I tried it out. Stormgate by Frostgian Studios is a classic RTS a la Blizzard. It consists of a campaign, a co-op, and a multiplayer skirmish. As a disclaimer, the game is still in early access and the in-game cutscenes are not final. They also mention that in the in-game disclaimer. The playable campaign prologue consists of 2 cutscenes and 3 missions. The story starts by opening a gate to another more evil world, which plunges the world as our characters know it into chaos. The setting of the campaign is 20 years after the portal opening and starts with us, the Warhawks, a band of freedom fighters and part of the Resistance Coalition, receiving a distress signal of a colony. At the colony we receive information about a mysterious artifact which also attracts the interest of all the bad people around us. So we should have it instead of them, so we can use it for stuff. Rescue the world. The missions of the campaign have build and no-build sections anchored around the main character, Amara. Sometimes we seem to get more heroes, but she is the star of the show. She can pick up extra story pickups, items, and the like. The items seem to be carried over between the missions. Every unit can get level ups and get stronger, not only the heroes. The build missions play very similar to a normal RTS, with the main building that produces workers, which mine a base resource and a special more rare resource, which you then use to produce more units and buildings. These you use to fight through the missions and reach the objective. Sprinkled in are some secrets, side objectives, and the like, which help you completing the main objective. There are also splitting paths and the like. In case the main character dies, she will respawn at the main base. In the side quests and in the item descriptions, there is some Blizzard or Giant Grant Games-esque humor, which is a plus in my book. So overall, the modus operandi of the campaign is similar to Warcraft 3 campaign, with some interesting features and tidbits, which is quite a solid foundation for a campaign. The picture is a bit muddied by the audio composition, especially in the last available cutscene is the big bad evil guy so quiet that it is difficult to understand him, even if I could understand the previous conversation with his Lucky perfectly fine. The co-op mode is very close to the one of StarCraft 2, with a plate of heroes of all 3 factions to pick, to complete with up to 2 other people. The mission that I played was quite dynamic, with convoys bringing supplies to the enemy base, which we could or should interrupt, because if they would reach the enemy base, there would be a rocket barrage raining down upon us. And the enemy hit squads trying to destroy our base, scattered throughout the map, where capture points which would buff you by one way or another, after defeating their defenders a la League of Legends jungle something. The skirmish mode is on a more or less classic mirror map, which has also the capture points from the co-op, with the classic goal to destroy your enemy. Well, there are 3 factions in the game. The Vanguard that we also played in the campaign, which is a classic starter faction with familiar base building and unit mechanics. They are quite familiar to StarCraft 2 Terran players. The Infernals, which are more of a swarm faction. When you build a unit production building of them, they will have charges, which lets you deploy the units instantly, but those charges have to regenerate. And also they have a floor corruption mechanic, so you need some spicy floor to build your buildings, and I think it buffs your units. The builders that build your buildings are used up once the building is finished. They are basically a mix of undeads of the Warcraft franchise and the Zerg from StarCraft. The Celestials are quite unique. Their forces are more about abilities. The buildings are transformed out of those morph cores, and they are more about getting resources passively through buildings at the resource nodes, and you can build extra batteries to power up your units. What? The main building is movable and has a tier 3 death laser upgrade, and I have the maximum supply cap available from the start? The closest factions that I could compare them to maybe is jacked up Protoss or a mix of Grey Goo. And that is only the overview. For example, the Vanguard defense building is different depending on which unit you place into it, or the Celestials have a bunch of flying units and other little features that make the faction unique to play. Overall, the factions play quite unique. You get to the elephant in the room. Stormgate seemed to have started out with the plan of being a full price RTS, but the plan is now to have it free to play and to carry the costs with cosmetics and co-op mission commanders and campaign mission packs. Currently you can play it for free in the real-time strategy fest of Steam, but I think afterward you have to pay again for the early access. But you can see for yourself. But once the game is free to play, you can see for yourself. I would be also unhappy for paying 60 or more bucks to then get the announcement that it will be free to play. Also in the Steam reviews there are some other rumors why the reviews are so, but that is not the point here. Overall, if you like StarCraft 2, Warcraft 3 or similar RTS, then Stormgate is definitely worth checking out on the Strategy Fest, or when it is released and free. Especially the campaign feels nice to play and worth a try by every RTS fan, and the prologue is with 1 or 2 hours a good impression to make the decision to keep the game on their own radar or not. But I would be not willing to pay more than $25 for it. I could imagine 15, but with the coming free to play it leaves a bit of a sour taste. Plum out.